Hello, and welcome to QuickTale English. Today, we share a story about a family fighting to save their dream, a small family business. The Sweet Spot Bakery was not just a business, it was the heart of the Thomas family. For 30 years, the small shop smelled like fresh bread and sweet cinnamon. Mr. Thomas, the father, was the main baker. He was a good man, a little traditional, and he knew everything about flour and yeast. Mrs. Sarah, the mother, managed the money and talked to the customers. She always had a warm smile. Ben, the son, was 20 years old. He worked in the bakery, but he wanted to bring new, modern ideas. The family had worked hard for many years. They did not have much money, but they were happy because they were together, making good food. But times were changing. One cold morning in October, a very big new shop opened right across the street. It was a large, modern chain store called Mega Muffins. It had bright lights, loud music, cheap prices, and fast Wi-Fi. "Look at that place," Mr. Thomas said, watching the long line of people entering the new store. "It is too big. It looks like a factory, not a bakery." Mrs. Sarah sighed. She was worried. "Thomas, our sales are low today. Yesterday, they were also very low. People like new things, and Mega Muffins is new." The next week, the problem became very serious. The Sweet Spot Bakery sales dropped by almost half. They could not pay all the bills. The family started to struggle. That evening, they had a family meeting in the small room behind the kitchen. The tension was high. "We must do something," Ben said, standing up. "Our bakery looks old. We have no modern drinks. We have no social media. The sign outside is broken. We need to change." "Change?" Mr. Thomas looked angry. "Our bread is the best in the city. The problem is the people who want bad, cheap sugar. Our quality is high, Ben. I will not change my perfect recipe." "But Dad," Ben argued, "nobody knows the recipe is perfect if they don't come inside. We need to tell people about us. I can make videos. We can post pictures of the cakes on the internet." Mrs. Sarah tried to mediate. "Thomas, Ben is right about the marketing. People use the internet for everything now. Ben, your father is right about the quality. We must find a way to use both the good old food and the new clever ideas." They could not agree. Ben felt his parents were too old-fashioned. Mr. Thomas felt his son did not respect the hard work of the past. The cafe continued to be quiet. Then the true disaster happened. On a rainy Tuesday, Mr. Thomas was baking the morning bread. Suddenly, the big old oven made a strange loud noise and stopped. Black smoke came out of the back. "No, no, no!" Mr. Thomas shouted. He tried to fix it, but the oven was old. It was broken completely. A repairman came to look at the oven. "It is a big job," the man said. "It will cost $3,000 to fix it well." $3,000? They did not have the money. They looked at their empty cash register. Mr. Thomas sat down in a chair. He felt defeated. "It is over," he whispered. "We cannot bake. We cannot open the shop. We cannot save the bakery." Ben felt bad for his father. Mrs. Sarah was quiet, but her mind was working fast. The next day, Mrs. Sarah started cleaning the storage room upstairs. She was looking for old papers, maybe some old insurance documents. While cleaning, she found an old, small notebook. It was tied with a faded ribbon. "What is this?" she wondered. She opened the book. It was her grandmother Rose's personal recipe book from the 1950s. The paper was yellow and the handwriting was beautiful. On the very first page, there was a recipe titled Grandma Rose's Secret Honey Lemon Loaf for Special Days. Mrs. Sarah ran downstairs to the kitchen holding the book. Look, she told Thomas and Ben, we cannot sell muffins like mega muffins. We cannot be cheaper than them. But we have something they do not have, a family story, a secret recipe from the past. Mr. Thomas read the recipe slowly. A small smile touched his lips. Rose's loaf. I remember that smell from my childhood. It was special. Ben saw the opportunity. This is it, Dad. You make the best loaf, the special old way. I will tell the story online. I will call it Grandma Rose's Comeback Day. We will tell people why our small shop is important. We will use the story, not just the product. This was the compromise. Thomas would respect the new marketing. Ben would respect the old recipe. They worked together for one long week. Ben took photos of the old recipe book and posted them on social media. He wrote a short, personal story about Grandma Rose. He created a simple video inviting people to the bakery. Mrs. Sarah decorated the shop with old photos of Grandma Rose and young Mr. Thomas. It looked warm and welcoming, not modern, but real. Thomas spent 2 days trying the recipe. The smell of honey and lemon filled the quiet bakery. The special loaf was unique. The day of the event came. The family was nervous. Would anyone come? At 9 a.m., the opening time, Mrs. Sarah looked out the window. There was a long queue of people outside the door. It was longer than the queue for mega muffins. People came for the special loaf, but they also came for the story and the warm atmosphere. Ben quickly managed the queue, using his phone to take orders and post updates. Mrs. Sarah spoke to everyone, sharing the story of Grandma Rose. Mr. Thomas worked harder than ever, pulling the warm loaves from a small temporary oven they rented. By 2 p.m., everything was sold. They were completely exhausted, but they were also laughing. When they counted the money, it was enough. More than enough. They saved the Sweet Spot Bakery. They fixed the old oven the next week. The most important thing was not the money, it was the family. Mr. Thomas learned that new ideas can help old traditions. Ben learned that old traditions can be very valuable. They learned that the family business was strong because they all worked together, believing in their shared, sweet future. Thank you for joining QuickTale English. Subscribe for more stories about life, family, and success, and continue practicing your B1 English. See you next time!